Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Donna Just Being Real. My channel's all about dating, love, relationships, and toxic relationship advice channel. Yes, all things relationship, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so we got this topic here we're talking about. We got two topics tonight. And Rachel Morin, mother of five, found naked and dead on hiking trail. Okay, so we're gonna watch a couple of clips. I think I have an article too. But whatever, we're gonna be basically just watching clips, okay? And then we're gonna also get into this one here. The Gilgo Beach, Long Island serial killer. Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about his update. That's his wife there. Alright, but first we're gonna find out about her. Now, basically, if I got this right, she went out, hiking or whatever. And next thing you know, her boyfriend calls a couple hours later, it's like she's missing. But he did give some of his DNA. We don't know. But the boyfriends are always the ones that's going to be questioned. Just very weird. Then come to find out, she's, I guess, been dating other people online. I don't know. It's just so much to unpack. But we're going to get into this one. All right. First, I'm going to start off with this first clip. And let's hear what they have to say. And everybody, make sure you hit the like, share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. And you need to reach out to me. Look in the description. You'll find my email if you need coaching in dating, love, relationship, toxic relationship, or you have a viewer's request, anything like that. Please feel free. And shout out to BG for bringing this to my attention. Because BG, I was like, wow. Let's get to it.
On what I think our entire community knows, sadly, what is a homicide along the Mampah Trail here just outside the town limits.
A Maryland mother is found dead after going out on a hike, and her boyfriend takes to social media to claim he didn't do anything to her. We discuss the developing details of the case. Welcome back to Sidebar here on Law and Crime. I'm Anjanette Levy. 37-year-old mother of five, Rachel Morin, went for a hike Saturday evening around 6 p.m. in Bel Air, Maryland. Less than 24 hours later, Morin was found dead, and the police believe someone murdered her. No suspects have been named, but just like most murder cases, those closest to her have come under the microscope, including her boyfriend. 27-year-old Richard Tobin changed his relationship status on August 1st to show that he was in a relationship with Morin. Upon discovering Morin's body, Tobin wrote underneath his Facebook post, "I didn't do anything to her." Hundreds of people commented below that post to express their own opinions. Tobin has not been named a suspect. He was the first to report Morin missing after she didn't return home from her hike, and he also provided police with the correct location of her vehicle. Tobin may not be a suspect right now, but he does have a long rap sheet. According to court records, Tobin's faced criminal charges 20 times. He's been arrested twice for criminal second-degree assault, malicious destruction of property, drug possession, and violating restraining orders. Again, police have not...
Help me to understand, why is she dating a man like this? And she has 5 children. I don't understand. Ladies, we have to do better. This is ridiculous. Did you just hear how many times he's been arrested, his rap sheet? Why? Why entertain something like that? Yeah, I have to admit, he is a good-looking guy. But not that good-looking. Oh, well, let's get back to it. Make sure you hit the like, and share it out in your social media. Let's get it.
Not accused him of any wrongdoing. We want to be very clear about that. But his criminal past really makes you wonder. Tobin went on to say under that Facebook post that he had struggled with the law, but has changed as a person. Joining me to discuss this disturbing case is the Sheriff of Harford County. He is Jeff Gaylor. Sheriff Gaylor, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting.
I don't mean to sound negative, but I'm just going to be real. Okay. People can change. But if I'm correct, she's 37 and he's 27. If he's 27 with all of these arrests and been out of jail like that, no, honey, I think this is his life. This is him. It's embedded in him. This ain't no one incident. Okay, he stopped and whatever, and he's a changed man. I'm sorry. I don't think there's no rehabilitation for this man. That's just my thoughts and opinions, and you can share yours. Let's resume.
Us to the program today, and sadly to discuss this horrible case.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful, and those poor children who have now lost their mother. It's heartbreaking. What is the very latest on the
Two college grads land the same job.
investigation?
Well,
Now let me add, there was also an article that I read. I wish I had my stuff with me. So she was going in and out of court, for custody with 3 of her baby fathers. So she got 5 kids, 3 baby fathers. Maybe one of them got 2 of them, whatever. I don't know the deal is. But the sad part about it is, right? These kids are going to be separated. These siblings. Oh, you want to talk now? Let me take you off the thing. Hold a second. Hold a second. Yes, Mama, I hear you. No, so I'm saying is, these kids, there's 3 fathers that's in the picture, right? Now these kids are going to be separated. They won't grow up with each other, We're not saying that this guy did it or not. We don't know for sure, but he did offer it. He did give his DNA. So that's kind of a sign maybe he don't feel like, he did anything. I don't know. But it's just sad that the kids, they're not going to grow up together. And they lost their mother. And if he did do this, why would you even bring some piece of crap like this around your children? Ladies, we got to do better. This is ridiculous. Resume.
Our investigators have been working diligently all the way back to when this was a missing person report, and hours later, transitioning into a homicide investigation. But much of what we are releasing is very little. I know that our community and this story has garnered attention from around the globe. But I know this story has so much public interest, and people are just anxious to know. But we cannot for a second allow the public wanting to know something to compete with the need to put together a quality investigation to identify a suspect and hopefully to bring this case to a successful resolution and prosecution. So really, we're saying very little at this point. That the investigation's going on. We have 10 detectives assigned primarily to the case. Just that's their sole focus, along with all the other assets of our office, our civilian staff, our technical people, our phone and IT people. Everybody's.
And I repeat again, thank you, BG, for bringing this to my attention. And I see you, Crystal, squeak through the back door, and Pam too. Hugs and kisses. No life insurance. I hope those babies will be taken care of properly. Yep. So they have a GoFundMe. Hopefully these kids' fathers are not a bunch of losers. This is so sad. So sad. But we don't know if he did it. Because he did give his DNA. We don't know. All right, let's get back to it.
Talents and investigative skills and efforts are focused on this, but 10 direct investigators assigned to the case to make sure that we follow up on the hundreds of leads that are coming in. We've had this story shared tens of thousands of times, so we're getting a lot of tips. A lot of those won't go anywhere, but some of them might be that something out there could be that key piece of evidence that we need to bring this case again to a successful resolution.
10 detectives. That's a lot of manpower. Is that putting a strain on your department? I only ask because I think that would be a lot of detectives for any department, but obviously this is all hands on deck for you.
And you're exactly right. That, for us, that's the bulk of our entire criminal investigation section, or the larger portion of it. But it's all hands on deck. This crime is out of the norm for what we're 30 minutes north of Baltimore. Homicide in Baltimore doesn't garner as much of attention as it does here in Harford County. And in Harford County, where this crime occurred just outside the town limits of Bel Air, I can't even tell you when the last time they had a homicide. And then you couple that, you drill down with that to the fact that this was a young lady, 37 years old, a young lady who was out on the trail exercising, where she had routinely been known that she would be out there exercising, into fitness, and her life struck down in such a criminal manner, and we're not releasing. I've been asked many times about the details, how we can confirm it's a homicide, and the only thing I'm answering to that is that it's not an accidental injury. It's not a self-inflicted taking of someone's life. Our detectives are 100% clear that this is a homicide investigation.
I have a lot of questions for you, but I want to go back to something you just mentioned earlier when we first started. How soon was she reported missing? Because she was found dead, sadly, less than 24 hours after she left to go on the trail. So how quickly was she reported missing?
Well, she was reported. She went around as I understand the timeline. She went out to do her run around 6 p.m. She wouldn't have been expected back. Her boyfriend reported her missing just around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night, and then um, the following Sunday and I have it here at 1:07 p.m. So on Sunday at 1:07, just a little over 12 hours, a self-deployed citizen who knew we were conducting search operations in that area. Many people were well aware social media was abuzz. Many people struck out on their own to go searching what's a very large wooded area that surrounds the hiking trail. And this individual came across the crime scene.
There's been a lot of chatter on social media, on Facebook in particular, directed toward the boyfriend, Rich Tobin. He said that he would never hurt her. He had some past run-ins with the law, but that he's changed. So has he been ruled out? Is he cooperating with your investigation?
Well, certainly no one's been ruled out and no one's been ruled in, if you will. There's no single suspect that we're looking at. We are taking this case as we would any case. We're looking at the victim. We're working our way out from her, those closest to her. And of course, there's a lot of online speculation and accusation about his actions. And all I can say is that, him or anyone who's responsible for this case, when we can make a case against an individual and we have a suspect, the public will be the first to know. And as the sheriff in this county and the community, and I want to reassure people of their safety, if I could say certainly that we have a suspect and this was a targeted event and our community overall is safe, that there's not a general threat to safety, that's what I would be saying. And I am not in a position to say that. So we are working all the way out from.
Great question, BG. He waited 5 hours. I don't get that. Who had the kids? That's a very good question. Men are protectors. You out there running, and it started hitting 5 hours, a couple hours. Oh, he want to know where the hell you at. Why he's waiting 5 hours? He went out there looking. It just is all our thoughts and opinions. We don't know. All our thoughts and opinions. And who had the kids? Where were the kids? Very good question. Maybe it was all with daddy at the time. Don't know. But it's a very interesting case, and the truth will come out. Yes, it will. Reason.
Again, the inner circle, all the way out to the unknown. Some random person on the trail with no connection to the victim whatsoever. We are looking at every possible conceivable scenario.
So you can't say that you have one suspect or three. You're still really in the early stages of this.
Absolutely, and people are anxious, and again, we understand that. People are nervous, people are afraid, but these things don't generally, and unless it's a smoking gun and someone's arrested there at the scene, these investigative efforts become technical. They become very involved, and they often take a bit of time. And that's when you have just one specific person you can look at, or one group you can look at, or something like that. And the more far-reaching, the more tips we get. And again, this is in the hundreds. That's more work that needs to be done by those 10 detailed investigators, but all the people that are assisting as well.
And obviously, we want to know who did this. And, this is a woman with 5 children. I mean, 5 children now are left without their mother. Who's taking care of these children? I mean, is Children's Services involved? Are other people involved? I know that there's been a GoFundMe that's been started for her children.
Well, they're still family, and I know that the father of at least a couple of the children is still in the picture. The parents, her parents are still here, and they've lost a daughter, a brother and sister who have lost a sibling. So they have a family network, and the kids are in good care. I was speaking to another news source earlier, and they asked, and I said I don't have it in front of me, but I don't know where they are. But I probably wouldn't say if I did, because that family needs time to deal with the magnitude of what has happened, and the public attention. And it goes back in my mind to the social media. So much out there is speculation and just not true, and that does nothing to help this family understand the magnitude of this loss, or be able to focus on what's being done when there's so much speculation. If people have information that they think might be pertinent to the investigation, let us, give that to police and let us vet that information to see if it has value.
Did Rachel have a cell phone with her when she was found, or any type of Apple Watch or a smartwatch?
A lot of questions, and those are questions that we've been asked, and it's stuff that we're not sharing. It's particulars of the investigation that at this point in time that we're not sharing whether she did or did not.
Was there any sign of sexual assault?
Again, it's something else. The medical examiner has, I don't know if they've completed all the reports, but they've completed the autopsy, positively identified her, because that was a question early on, although we knew it was her. The official notification of identification comes from the MD's office. That has happened. The cause of death, we're aware of that, but that's all stuff that we are not going to release because, again, it could interfere, and we do not want anything to interfere with an eventual successful prosecution of the person or persons responsible for this horrific act.
Had she been receiving any threats or anything like that we're aware of?
None that I'm aware of. No, but again, that would be, we're going to start with our victim and we're going to work our way out as any good police investigation should. So that would be something our detectives would focus on. Whether I'm aware of it, I have not heard that, but our detectives may be aware of something I'm not.
Was there any surveillance footage recovered? I feel like these days everything's on camera. Everybody's got one of those Ring doorbell things. Everybody but me, I guess. But
we all ask questions about life. Who are we?
Those things are all over the place. You can drive out of your neighborhood and half the time there's some camera recording somewhere.
Oh, 100%. Cameras are everywhere, and my yard actually backs up to a different section of this same hiking trail, the Mom Pop Trail, and I have 7 cameras around my house. Cameras are cheap; they're not expensive, so certainly that's something that detectives are aware of, and they are going to be looking. And we're asking the community if they have footage that's personally owned that they think maybe is of no value, but it shows a portion of the trail. We want to see it. As far as it's a part of the Parks and Rec, the actual trail itself. As far as Parks and Recs for the county, the department for the county, there are not trails along the camera. Certainly something that we've had discussions with as we have stepped up our patrols there, after the fact, in order to reassure our community. Something that we've had conversations with them about is maybe exploring that possibility. It gets fairly rural at places. But in this age of cheap cameras and technology, it should be something I think that we could make happen.
Sheriff Gaylor, if people have information about Rachel Morin's life or her murder, how do they reach out to you?
Well, certainly, if anyone, again, and anyone thinks that they have information that might be helpful to investigators, but they're not sure, we want them to err on the side of letting us know. They can do that through our Facebook. So many people live on social media, and that will get to investigators. Or we're asking people to call our investigators at 410-836-5430.
Well, let's hope that you get some leads on this, and that some measure of peace can come to this family. Nothing's ever going to, bring her back, we know, but answers are what this family needs at this point in time, and sympathy, and probably some financial assistance. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, and we want to deliver those things for the family, particularly, justice, and see this person removed from our community.
No doubt. Thank you. I also spoke with Mike Alcazar, a 30-year veteran of the NYPD, about how important it was that Rachel Morin's body was found so quickly.
A lot of the information should be obtained when they process the crime scene, to see what kind of evidence they recover, DNA evidence, any you can compare. Was there a struggle? Does she have any defensive wounds? DNA to play big, and it's a silent witness that provides a lot of information. It never lies. And it's an investigative step. It should develop some leads for them immediately.
And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. You can listen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you another clip. So enjoy the music while you wait. That's the boyfriend. And this picture was taken, I guess the people out there that always the news reporters, they're taking pictures, and they just caught him stepping out the house. This is a recent picture. I guess yesterday or the day before, something like that. Okay. What else I'm going to... Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's check out this news clip. Let's get it.
Phil Waters, friend of the program, 23 years as a homicide detective with the Houston Police Department. So, Phil, you would have a better insight into why police would say what they did about this Michael Gabrzeski fella. They're really discounting almost all of what he said, but it was so detailed. What do you make of that?
Well, aloha, Ashley. It's good to be with you again. I will tell you, there are many times where you have people that, for whatever reasons, want to insert themselves into one of these high-profile homicides, and he may be one of those people. If it was, in fact, his stepdaughter that found Rachel and detailed to him what she saw, then he's given to embellishment, exaggeration, and so forth and so on to make the story. I mean, the story's already incredible, but he wants to bring attention to himself. Therefore, he's going to be saying much more than perhaps the facts actually are.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I am curious.
OMG. Did I just see Nikki? Girl, I was thinking about you today. It was insane. I was like, I gotta contact Nikki. This is insane. You are going to live a long life. I love you, girl. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, I have to email you because we have to chat. All right. Resume.
Though, if let's just say he is, it's a game of telephone, and it was recounted to him, these horrifying details. They're very specific, very detailed, and he is recounting that to the press. Would the police say embellish themselves by saying none of it's true if in fact they were desperate to keep those details secret because it's something only the killer knew?
Well, it's possible. I mean, anything is possible in an investigation like this because what the police don't want to do at the beginning of this thing is to reveal certain details that might compromise the investigation later on. So, it's hard to tell. The only thing I can gather here is that the detectives, the police department, they are emphatic about this guy and his description, about it being incorrect. And when you're that absolute, I would be hard pressed to think that they are, for some ulterior motive, trying to run this guy's story down. So there's got to be some, there's a lot of times where people can say facts without telling the truth. That may be one of these situations here, and the police are trying to get ahead of this and do some damage control on what he's already put out there.
Sure. Let me ask you this. The one detail that struck me was that he said that Rachel had been attacked with a rock and that there'd been a lot of damage done to her face. And I got to thinking about the randomness that is being potentially suggested by the police, that there may just be a random killer out there. Would a random killer resort to just grabbing any weapon of convenience, or would a random killer bring something with him or her? So the job was planned and the idea was carried out.
Well, it depends on what random killer you're talking about. I mean, it's one of these things that just from what I know, from what you've detailed, it appears to me that this is much more personal. I've seen homicide scenes where the face is just destroyed, and that's for a reason, because they are either so angry at this person and how attractive they may be that they're going to destroy that beauty, and because they've been rejected. Now, the boyfriend and all this stuff, they're going to have to get a timeline on where he was and what he was doing, because you've got what, a 5.5 hour period here between the time she left to go hiking and the time her boyfriend is calling in a missing person report. So, I mean, there are a lot of moving parts here, and the fact that to say it's random, I think by and large, if it was an unknown suspect to her, she's going to be targeted. I just, for whatever reason, whether I'd be interested to know if there's a sexual assault involved here. There's a whole lot of questions that have not been answered. And until we get those details,
are there ever? Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot. And then there's also the detail that she was allegedly stripped naked, if the details are correct, from this.
Allegedly, she was stripped naked and half of her face was like demolished. Like somebody just took a brick or something, just smashed her face. That's personal. It's definitely somebody. It's definitely somebody she knows. This is personal. I'm going to follow this story because this is really interesting. And ladies, you cannot be dating these ex-convicts and bring them around in your home, around your children. I don't understand. All they good for is sex. Don't you want more in a relationship than sex? I mean, yeah, sex is a bonus, but I mean, if that's all the man can offer you is a wood stick, really? 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 Hmm. Resume.
Witness. Phil Waters. Right, exactly. So listen, thank you. As always, your insight is so helpful when we try to figure out, where a crime is going and where it's headed. Thank you for being here again, Phil. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget.
Okay, I have another clip for you too. Wait a minute. I do have one more. Hold a second. Enjoy the music while you wait. I'm not gonna play this whole video. It's kind of long because I wanted to get to the second one. But we're gonna hear what Grace has to say. What's her name? Grace. Just give me a second. Let me pull her up. I like her commentary. Let's see what she said. This was 3 days ago. She did this one. Okay, let's get it.
And more about the discovery of the body of a gorgeous young mom, Rachel Morin. She's just absolutely stunning. What we're learning is that Rachel Morin's body was found near the Ma and Pa Trail, on the Ma and Pa Trail. And this was in Bel Air, Maryland, about 30 to 15 minutes from Baltimore. It's a remote trail. It's a very popular trail. She was found near a tunnel. And according to a man that says he found her, we now think actually his stepdaughter may have found Rachel. She was completely naked, lying on her back, exposed to the wilderness. And according to him, it looked as if someone was trying to erase her identity. One whole side of her head was bashed in, basically gone. And we are learning that according to him, I'm calling him Michael G., there's a trail of Jack, wasn't it like 20 feet of blood? 15 to 20 feet of a blood trail. What do we know? We know that her boyfriend, her new boyfriend, he had just announced on social media 4 days before her murder that they were a couple. He's under suspicion. He has a rap sheet, 14 arrests since 2014. But there are many other cases where female victims are found out hiking or jogging who have been attacked by complete strangers. For instance, in Memphis, we just covered the case of Eliza Fletcher, a young mom out jogging about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. She was kidnapped, I believe, sex assaulted and murdered by a rapist, Cleotha Abston. Never met her. Then there's Molly Tibbetts, beautiful young university student out jogging alone. She was attacked by an illegal immigrant and beaten, murdered, and hidden in a cornfield. Had never met her. My friend, Phil Vitrano's daughter, Karina Vitrano, the Long Island jogger, was out jogging. It was like the one day ever her father didn't jog with her. And she was attacked by a guy that didn't know her, Chanel Lewis. I believe he's about 27 years old, who beat her in much the same fashion where you're saying Rachel Morin beaten dead. Now, I just spoke to a medical examiner that says even if a victim is beaten.
These low-life men out here love to beat up the pretty women, don't they? Just love to beat them up and kill them. Ridiculous. And I see you, Melvia. Good evening to you. Resume.
Horribly bludgeoned, seemingly bludgeoned dead, they can still tell if she was actually strangled dead or that there was another COD cause of death. That is a rough update. Okay, there's a lot more to this. But joining me right now is Dr. Bethany Marshall, a renowned psychoanalyst joining us out of Beverly Hills. You can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, I want to get your analysis of what we're learning at the crime scene. And again, I'm stating, Dr. Bethany, that I believe this to be the primary crime scene, not the secondary or tertiary, the primary. This is where she was killed. And I'm basing that on the fact that according to what we know right now, she was found in a pool of blood and there was a 15 to 20 foot blood trail leading to her body. That tells me that she was not killed at home or in somebody else's apartment or in the car, that she was attacked there with a blow, a vicious blow that started profuse bleeding, and that she made it or was dragged to where her body was found. And then somehow she ends up butt naked, which tells me sex assault. I want to hear everything. Start at the beginning.
Well, this does not seem to be the result of a domestic homicide or a stalker. And I'll tell you why. If it was a domestic, I think people would be coming forward about violence in her relationship with her new boyfriend. I think she would have been posting about it, heard about that by now, Nancy. Let's say this was a stalker. I mean, obviously she's a beautiful woman. If you've seen her Facebook posts, her photos, she is gorgeous. She obviously knows many people. She has 5 children. So you think of all the web of relationships that go outwards into the school, into the community, but we're not hearing of anybody stalking her. I think somebody would have come forward about that as well. Or
Can I just ask you a question about the stalker theory you're espousing? A stalker would have had to have followed her to this trail unless she had posted on social, hey, I'm going to the Ma and Pa trail. He would have to have laid in wait and then followed her to this trail. Kind of reminds me of the Smollett claim, the big Jussie Smollett hoax, where he said he was being stalked. Right. What, they're going to wait outside his high rise in sub-zero weather till 3 a.m. when he gets the munchies? And they're going to just predict from their crystal ball he's going to come and go to Subway sandwich shop? No, that didn't happen. So if it's a stalker theory, how the heck did they know she's going to go to Ma and Pa trail? No, I disagree. Not a stalker.
Exactly, because she went after work, right? I mean, they didn't report her missing because she went out shopping and didn't come home. She went to work and then she didn't come home. So it tells me that she switched it up and decided to go on a jog after work, and that this was a little unusual for her. And so, we tend to think about a stalker would have known her whereabouts, and a stalker would have approached her at work. A stalker would have been maybe cyberbullying her, maybe trying to ask her out on dates, maybe going to restaurants. I think of these stalkers as they're kind of they want to inject themselves into the social life of the victim. They don't want to meet the victim out in the wilderness on a trail, because stalkers.
Yes, Nikki. She has 5 children, and there's 3 baby fathers. And they said she was going through custody battles with the 3 fathers, I guess, currently. And it's so sad these kids are all going to be separated. All right, let's get back to it. And all this jogging out here, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I like to work out in the gym because I like AC. I'm not with that working out outside. Only like in the wintertime, I do my speed walking or whatever. But, you have to be careful out here working out. When you're working out, you in your zone, you're feeling good. It's like a high. You're just getting you're getting that set in, or you're getting that extra mile in. And these creepos out here notice that too. And they will watch you. Look at her. She's so much in her zone. I could just creep up on her. She won't even know. And it's true. Now you got the headphones on. You blasting music. You shaking your hips. You're feeling good and stuff because you're working out. The endorphins is kicking in. And bam, here he comes. Snatches you and kills you and do whatever. But we don't know. It might have been him. But they said allegedly somewhere that she was all on, social media. She was on a couple of dating sites. So did she have a side dude and he did it? We don't know. All right, let's get back to it. Yeah, we got more, so y'all hang in there because we got to talk about this Rex guy. We're going to get into Rex because something came up with Rex. He got some call girl, some sort of hooker or whatever, sex work. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Lady of the night, I guess, lady of the night, right? And she was like, he was a little creepy. I guess she got away. I didn't watch the video, but we're going to watch it together. But let's finish this off. Go ahead, Nancy. I like you, Nancy Grace.
Want to be, a stalker would want to be her boyfriend. So if you want to be her boyfriend, where are you going to meet her? You're going to meet her in a bar. You're going to try to come to her home. You're not going to go into the wilderness and go on a jog with her. So I think we can definitely rule that theory out. So what does come to mind here, Nancy, is the brutality of the crime in combination with the remote area tells me that this was likely a serial killer's first or maybe second or third kill.
I just want to throw in one fact there. I don't recall that she was going to work. I think that she said or indicate she was going to this trail. Now, I may be wrong because I'm covering a lot of cases, but just throw that into your analysis. I think she left at around 6 p.m. Jackie, tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, she left around 6 p.m. and went, and then her body was found less than 24 hours later. Now, according to him, by Michael G. Many people think Michael, I think it's Gabreski's daughter-in-law, stepdaughter, found her. But that said, no one is denying his description of the scene. No one at all. Hey, Dr. Bethany, I'm going to throw in to you what I know about his description of the scene. Oh, and here's another thing for you to ingest. Her clothing. What happened to her clothing? Was it found? Was it taken as some sort of a trophy? Those are some of the things. Now, this is what Gabrzeski says that he or the stepdaughter, Cecilia, found. One, he kept thinking tunnels. You know, those tunnels, it could be like a tunnel that goes, a sewer tunnel or a drainage tunnel that's just, 5 feet in circumference. It could be a big tunnel like at Central Park when you walk under a tunnel that's just really, 20, 30 feet long, but it's big enough for a horse-drawn carriage to go through. There's many types of tunnel. We don't know which one it is, but Michael G, says he kept thinking about she's going to be near a tunnel. All right. He says she was found very near a drainage tunnel. She was lying on her back, fully naked with brutal head trauma. It looked like her head had been smashed with a rock. 3, a 15 to 20 foot blood trail. It looked like she was beaten and dragged into position, which brings up posing, Dr. Bethany. Another fact for you to put into your calculation. Also, the right side of her face was gone. This is according to him. And it looked like the killer was trying to erase her identity.
Yeah, the way that she was murdered, you can tell that this is personal. This is definitely full-blown personal. I see you, Deb, pop up in here. This is definitely personal. Let's get back to it.
Now, the sheriffs have come out and said, he's not the one that found her. Maybe that's true. Maybe Cecilia told him. Maybe he came up on the body later. But they are, and I want to reiterate, not denying that those facts are accurate. With all that knowledge, boyfriend found her car at the William Street entrance to the trailhead, and boyfriend reported her missing. Boyfriend has record, 14 arrests since 2014. Put all of that into the machine that is your brain and spit it out.
14 arrests. That's a low life. He's a low life. There's no other way to describe him. He's a dusty low life. All he got going for him. Yeah, I'm going to say it. All he got going from his looks and wood. That's it. Can't offer a woman nothing else. What kind of job he's going to be able to get? Nobody's going to hire him. That's been arrested that many times. Would you hire him? He wouldn't be a part of my team. Wonder how many baby mamas you got. You probably got several baby mamas too. And they take you for child support and you ain't paying it. Claim that they trying to rip you off. Yeah, all men love to say that. A woman's trying to rip you off for your money. Yeah, okay. Well, put a goddamn condom on it so you don't, you have sex with one so you won't get her pregnant, okay? Resume.
All right. So the fact that the man his stepdaughter found the victim, I'm not surprised he was thinking about a tunnel. My husband and I go hiking in Big Sur quite a bit, and often you have to walk through these big drainage tunnels to get up to the mountains, and people are going back and forth. But these drainage tunnels they're the most secluded places you could hide a body. So this seems to be largely theoretical. Of course, it could be psychic. I mean, remember with Kaylee Anthony, there was a psychic who kept saying she's underwater, she's in water, and then of course, where did they find her? It was when the water receded that they found the bones. But I think it's more likely that this guy knew the wilderness and had some sense that this is where the body might be secreted. Now, the fact that there was such brutality inflicted most likely with a rock, it tells me that this could have been a serial killer in the making who his
okay, right there, Dr. Bethany, a serial killer in the making. Okay, if this is a first kill, he's not a serial killer yet. And I want to talk about how people, they changed their MOs. Like Ted Bundy started driving up to women in his, we think he started this way, in his cute little VW Bug, asking for directions or for help. He ended up, much like this, grabbing a log and beating women dead in a sorority house. That is a dramatic change of MO. And it reminds me a little bit of the way we believe Rachel Morin was bludgeoned dead with possibly a rock, whatever was at hand, which also tells me not planned.
Not planned, Nancy. You know, we think of serial killers as, oh, they want to kill somebody, so it's easy for them to do it. Oh, no, they have to work up their courage, just like you and I probably worked up our courage to go on our first job interview. You know, these tasks in life, they don't come easily, and this is a very malicious, horrible task. But this guy, if he is a serial killer in the making, had a prolific fantasy life, probably a masturbatory life, where he thought about inflicting cruelty in order to, you know, engage in some sex act or to enhance his sexual arousal. So he's probably looking up images online.
You know what, Dr. Bethany, I just had a flash in my head. You must counsel some real wackadoodles out there in Beverly Hills, up and down Rodeo Drive, because you always talk about their masturbatory history. It just rolls off your tongue. So I think you've said it a lot. And inflicting pain in order to get pleasure. I'm not asking about your clients. I really don't want to hear that. But go ahead. Albeit from me to stop you, please go ahead.
Well, I think such a key point that's rarely brought forward is that the neurobiology of serial killers, and that is that they're very deadened people. They do not experience excitement, joy, arousal like you and I do. They have to hurt people in order to feel alive, both sexually and emotionally. And so pain, death, killing, that's their entire MO, and it gets fused with sexuality because they cannot experience sexual excitement in normal ways. So think about this perp. He's going to try to find a place where there are women and women alone. We know where this trailhead was, where it was very near where women dropped their children off to go to school. They would drop the children off and then they would go hike. So check number one, he found a place where he could isolate the victim. Number two, he was patrolling that area for a long, long time. He just didn't go there to kill somebody. He probably hid in the bushes and watched woman after woman after woman walk by until he found somebody at just the right time of day or night, somebody who was sexually attractive or appealing to him, maybe someone petite, someone he could gain control of. And Nancy, so here, I think, is the interesting part, is the bludgeoning. I think this is very important that he bludgeoned, smashed in her face, left blood all over the place, because I remember a story told to me by a very good friend and colleague who was a prosecutor, who talked about a man in San Bernardino Mountains.
Okay, ladies, jumping in because she's talking a lot about serial killers. Okay, it's just very interesting, but we haven't got much time. We want to get into Rex.
She was, you know, she died, and as the body was sort of degrading, he would come.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'm watching this with you. It's my first time. Just came from my feed. So I was like, let's watch it together. I was terrified. Sex worker who dated accused Gilgo Beach serial killer tells all. Woo! Let's see what she got to say. All right. Make sure you hit the like if you didn't hit it.
You're talking about Peter Griffin?
I'm talking about Rex.
Yeah, the Rex, yeah, aka Peter Griffin. They call him Peter Griffin because he looked just like him.
Oh, I missed that one. Oh, I didn't know that. Ooh, dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's get into this clip here, ladies and gentlemen.
So I never forgot it.
A former escort says she went on a date with the man accused of being the Gilgo Beach serial killer and lived to tell the tale. Now, Nikki Brass is here to tell her story and why she believes she made it home that night.
Introducing the next generation of pepper spray. Meet Palm, a new maximum strength self-defense product with a patented modular design, revolutionizing the self-defense industry. Whether you're carrying the unit on your keys, snapping the unit on your backpack, your keychain, or carrying the unit in your pocket, Palm is the perfect everyday carry accessory. Palm's patented flip-top safety prevents any accidental misfire, and its maximum strength formula provides you with the necessary range and capacity to bring peace of mind to you and your safety. Performance, peace of mind. Learn more at palmpepperspray.com.
Welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. I'm Anjanette
All
Levy.
right, we all
The Long Island serial killer case shows exactly how dangerous it can be to work as an escort. Nikki Brass worked as an escort several years ago, and in the time she worked as an escort, she said there was only one date that scared her. She says that date was with Rex Heuermann, the man accused of murdering 3 women who worked as escorts. Heuermann remains behind bars in the Suffolk County Jail, where he's being held without bond.
I've lost almost.
Accused of murdering 3 petite escorts, Melissa Bartholomew, Amber Costello, and Megan Waterman. The district attorney says Heuermann is the prime suspect in the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Heuermann has said through his attorney that he is innocent, but the DA says DNA and cell phone records connects him to the victims and the crimes. Joining me to discuss Rex Heuermann is someone who actually went on a date with him. She is Nikki Brass. She is a hairstylist and a makeup artist and a former escort. Nikki, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So this is a former escort, huh? So that means you were cheating on your wife, right? Yep. Where's the wife at? There goes wifey that he was cheating on. There goes wifey. And there go wifey with their kids. Now back to her.
Nikki, when did you first realize that Rex Heuermann was somebody that you had encountered some time ago?
So he's the only date I ever went on where I was scared. So I never forgot it. And for the last 10 years, I've told dozens of people that I swear I sat down and had dinner with the Gilgo Beach killer. And people thought I was crazy. And once he was arrested, my friend recognized his picture because I showed it to her before the date and said, he's an architect in Manhattan. And she remembered it. And she was like, oh my God, it was him. And I knew it was him. I knew it was him.
Was this soon after he was arrested, like right afterwards?
So he got arrested. I have, kids, so I watch more kid shows than I get to the news these days. But once the story broke, I had texted her and I said, hey, you should go check out the news. The Gilgo Beach killer was arrested. Go look at him. And she went and turned it on. And right away she was like, oh my God, it's him.
How did this date get arranged? Was it on Backpage? Was it on Craigslist?
So I had back pages, Seeking, Sugar Daddies. I had so many different pages with ads with a Google generated number that you can contact me on. So I'm not sure which one he contacted me through. I tried reaching out to one of the sites and actually asking if they could pull the messages between us on that now deleted account, and they wouldn't do it because I wasn't the owner of his account.
So law enforcement, just so the viewers and listeners know, they can subpoena that information,
Yeah.
but you can't get that information.
Yeah, and not only that, because I was on so many sites with the generated number, there's no way for me to tell you with absolute certainty which one he contacted me through.
So you think it was 10 or 11 years ago, so that
It was summer of 2015.
summer of 2015.
Yes.
So when he reaches out to you, he calls you on the number. It's a Google generated number, you said.
He
And
didn't
then
call, we texted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so you guys texted over the Google generated number. Do you remember what he said, or was it just like, "Hey, I'd like to meet up with you"?
Initially, it was, hey, I'd like to meet up with you. Then it was, he wanted me to go directly to his house in Massapequa. And when I tell you I'm like the most locationally challenged person on earth, I can live somewhere for 5 years and I still need to GPS getting home. So I was very unfamiliar with Massapequa. And I said to him, I don't want to go directly to your house. I don't know the area. I don't have friends there. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we met in a public local place near me. And if I'm comfortable, let's just sure, I'll come back to your place.
But he wanted you to come to his home.
He wanted me to come directly to his home. He didn't want to meet at a public restaurant.
Knowing what you know now, because the police are saying the dates he would go on.
She said he wanted him to come over to her home. So your home that Nikki, I was wondering too. I was just thinking that might be drugs, too much drugs over a period of time. You don't your motor skills, everything slows down, something like that. But yeah. What was I just talking about? Oh, he bring these people over to the house, allegedly, if he is. Your house with you and your wife, huh? Ooh, Ooh, you trifling low life son of a gun. All right, we'll find out. Look at your kids. Got your kids looking like that. Ain't no 25-year-old girl supposed to be dressing like
Look
that.
at
Are
the
you kidding me?
wife. I can see why he cheated.
No. Well, look at Beyonce. Jay-Z still cheat on her, so it don't make a difference.
Okay,
Man, I
I
hope.
understand. We ain't talking about Beyonce, Jay-Z. We talking about her.
All right, well then. Yeah, well. She probably let herself go like that, dealing with this asshole here, stressing out. He probably told her, don't look pretty. She probably was gorgeous she could be when they was dating. And then he turned around and made her look different. Why he run around out here with these other women, killing them and stuff. Allegedly. All right,
We
let's
know
go
he
back.
killed them women.
You know what? I think so too. All right, let's get back to it.
I'm gonna keep real. The wife is still ugly as sin.
Wait a minute. She's not. She just need a little hairbrush and some mousse or something. See? A little hairbrush and some mousse.
What?
And a little
She done hit 2 crack pipes.
no, just and right here, just a good support bra. Good bra. I don't think she have on any bra
I
right now.
don't know if there any support for that. You might get parachutes.
I'm done. All right, let's get back to it.
With the women that he's accused of murdering happened when his wife was out of town. So does that freak you out? Kind of thinking about that in hindsight.
It's week 3 of drinking shrooms and I've never felt better. And no.
No, what freaks me out in hindsight is thinking that this.
And you know what, Nikki? I have it on speed 1.25 and she still sounds slow. This is ridiculous. All right, let's get back to it.
Man sat across from me bragging because he knew I was in such a vulnerable position in my life that I wouldn't go to the cops because 1, I probably wouldn't be believed, or 2, I'd probably be arrested. But I think that's what freaks me out the most is that.
I agree with you, Nick. And I did a whole commentary on about cheating, several reasons why people cheat. And you know what? When you've been cheated on in a relationship, and it's males and females, don't blame yourself and think it's you that you did something wrong. No, you could just be dealing with somebody who just can't be faithful. They're a serial cheater. They just want to try something new. They're not satisfied with one person. It is what it is. That's just who they are. But see, that's why when you date long enough before you get married to find out all of these things. But these women out here so quick to get married, they don't care. He cheat on a few times. They think, oh, we get married. He won't cheat no more. He'll stop. BS. He gonna cheat even more. Sorry. That's what dating's about. Oh, well, let's get back to it. Yeah, you're supposed to date, get engaged for a while, then get married and live together. But a lot of people date and move right in with each other. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
It's called cohabitating.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, for me, he's the cheater. I'm not saying cheating is good. I'm just saying she's just not good looking. That's all I gotta say. That's all. But otherwise, yes, he is wrong for cheating. Absolutely. And he's gonna go to the big house.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Griffin.
He kind of tall. They got a big cell for him.
Oh, yeah, he's about 6'6".
God.
Yeah, it's Peter Griffin.
Reason.
He may have put hypotheticals or said, he or what he thought, but it was somebody who had done it and been there describing those crimes. And I think that's what scared me the most.
So tell me about the date. Tell me exactly where you met in public and what happened from there, if you don't mind.
So we didn't meet at his car. I know a lot of people were like, did you see what kind of car he was driving? No. So he met me directly in front of the restaurant, the steam room in Port Jeff. We walked in, we grabbed a seat, we ordered drinks. He was surprised that I don't drink alcohol. I don't know why that's such a surprising thing to people. Um, and he ordered his drink. We ordered some food.
Wait a minute. 603 said something. What did I say? You said, Donna, that's no guaranteed either. If you can elaborate, what did I say? You said that's no guaranteed either. I'm curious, 603, if you can. All right, let's get back to it.
I don't remember what he got, but I know I got salmon and rice because I was allergic to shellfish. And we started talking, and everything seemed normal, very basic, like, generic chatter that you would use, when you're first meeting a person, first date. And then it switched to he asked if I was interested in true crime. And at that point, it still wasn't weird for me. I actually got excited because I am a true crime fanatic. Like, I could quote very weird, random things from serial killers or know facts that very few people know, like very, very heavily involved in, the true crime scene. But even though I'm a fan and I'm involved, I have empathy for the victims. The way he described things wasn't like the point of view of somebody who, you know, had empathy for the victims.
All right, 603. About dating, I get to know what I said a long time. To get to know somebody, some people you never know. And that is so true. You do have some people that are very good with hiding under the mask. And that mask won't crack or won't fall off for a long time. It could be a year and a half. But if you look back at it, you will kind of see there was some sort of signs there, but you might have just didn't pick up on it because they did it so subtle, so cunning. They didn't outright overtly did it. It was indirectly, so you didn't think much of it. And that happens because once that love bug hits in a relationship, men and women, this is vice versa. You start to disregard certain things. You overlook certain things because the love bug hit. That love bug is a powerful thing. It really is. It's flipping powerful. Okay. But yeah, there are some people that's very clever, can hide for a long time. That's why you have to watch a person, you have to study the person. See who they interact. How do they act out in public? How are they with their family, with their children, their past relationships? You have to ask questions in the dating scene and find out. But so many people are so scared, women scared they'll be by themselves. They want to ask too many questions, scare them off. And the man don't want to ask so many questions because he might not get laid again. It's crazy. It really is crazy. But it is what it is. Let's get back to it. Who's ever coming in here? Thank you for being here. Now we on Rex. We're talking about him, and this woman right here was a sex worker, call girl, or whatever, lady of the night. And she's telling her story with him. Let's get back to it. Hit the like and share. Reason.
So basically, like when he talked about the other killers and their victims and different things like that, he talked about it like a true crime buff. He talked about it the way I would, or you would, or any other person would. It was when we got to him saying, "Have you heard of the Gilgo Beach murders?" And I said, "Yes, I've heard of the Gilgo Beach murders."
Aaron loves Optimum's fiber internet, saying, excellent speed and quality.
Like, I'm from Long Island, we all have. And that's when he started talking about it. He sat up straighter. He had like this smirk on his face. It was almost like he was like excited to talk about it. Like, I get to talk about it now. This is great.
What did he say about the Gilgo Beach murders?
So he asked me if I thought Shannon Gilbert, that Jersey City girl, was connected. I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, I do too. And then another thing he said was, how do you think they get rid of the bodies without going noticed? And I said, I don't know. I've never been to the area ever. I don't know the access points. I don't know anything about it. And he said, well, it's very dark and desolate. And then he goes, what if they treaded through the marsh? And I don't know if he meant in one of those big rubber suits walking through it with camouflage bags, or if he meant he took a small boat with no light, or what he meant by that. But that was one hypothetical. And the other he gave was, well, a cop could easily do it without anyone bothering him. Turn his lights on, park, put a cone up. No one's going to bother him.
So what happens after that? part of the discussion, did you think this is just a little too creepy? It's a little too descriptive. I'm out of here, or what happened?
So I tried to be polite. I actually stayed through the whole thing. And I remember him saying, it's up to 10 victims now, right? And I said, I think so. I wish I could describe it. Like, I wish there was a word for it. But he seemed like somebody who was reliving it and enjoying it, like almost like mentally orgasmic. Like later on, he was gonna get to reveal the truth to me that all along it was him. Like he was building up to it at the dinner and almost like it was a game for him. It was funny. Like the way he talked about the victims was like, well, they were just escorts, they were just prostitutes, they were just whores. And then he'd be like, but don't worry, I don't think of you that way. I know you have aspirations and hopes and dreams. And, I feel like he did that to all the victims, but like, how dare you, Uh, my biggest reason for coming on is people are like, oh, she wants 15 minutes of fame or this or that. And it's not that. It's these women are being dehumanized for a job that they did. And I want people to realize that you can end up in a really vulnerable situation where you have no other options but that. And that doesn't change that they had hopes and dreams and aspirations. Like I got the chance to become a mother. I got the chance to become a really talented hairstylist and makeup artist. I was given that chance because I survived. These women had that taken away from them because he thought that he had the right to do that. And that's my biggest thing is I want people to put a face to these women that isn't just an escort. I want them to see that these women, if they had gotten a chance, probably would have gotten out and lived their dreams too.
And I think that's very important. I think that they are dehumanized. I agree with you, by some people, and ultimately by the person who took their lives. Did he say to you in your discussions how he believed the women were killed?
I know he said strangulation and hammer. I know he said, I feel like a hammer would be real quick and easy. He said, usually it'll take one time, as if like, hitting them once with the hammer in the head would usually do the trick. And
Did he
at his
s-
size and his weight, I could imagine that kind of force would be at one time would be enough. I said, and I think also other sick things go on, like cutting fingers off or toes, just a lot, torture in small ways. I feel like he's an animal who's been slowly building up. And, you don't just kill for 10 years and suddenly get caught. This man's been traveling for a very long time. He's smart, he's calculating, he's cunning, he knows what he's doing. There are a lot more women connected to Rex Heuermann than just who he's charged with. And I think in the future we're gonna see that.
what happened after all of this discussion? And you said you're polite. You stayed through the dinner.
So he asked if I was gonna come home with him. And at that point, I had a bad feeling in my stomach. I was scared. I was thinking I might have to order that weird drink from the bartender to get me out of here. And I ended up saying to him, it's late. I don't know Massapequa. I don't want to drive there and then have to drive home that late and that tired. Maybe another time. And he was like, no, no, no. Like, leave your car here. You would take my car. Why would we take two cars? That's stupid. Like, let's just save gas. Like, very insistent. Then I took my car and left it in the parking lot and went into his car. And in hindsight, I think it's because he didn't want to be on traffic cameras having to get rid of a girl's car.
So how did things end? I mean, did he pay you at all, or did you just say, I think I'm going to go home? How did things wrap up?
I didn't get paid. I said, thank you for it was nice meeting you, but I don't think this is going to work out. And I had texted a friend and had them meet me in the parking lot because I was scared. And I told Rex, I have somebody meeting me here just to make sure I get home okay. Because I feel like if he didn't know that information, he might have been planning to go after me in the parking lot for all I know. He was terrifying. So I got up. He gave me that firm handshake again. And we walked out, and my friend waved to me. And you could tell he was very visually agitated. He was annoyed he did all that work, and I wasn't going with him. Like you could definitely see the agitation within him, but I was just glad to get out of there.
When he introduced himself to you, how did he introduce himself?
Ooh, let me pause here. Penny, 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 and welcome. Thank you for the tidbit. FYI, the Gilgo Beach killer's wife looks bad because she has cancer. Oh my gosh. She's actively dying. That's why she looks poorly. Explain it. And dealing with him too. No help. Probably causing her cancer to go rapid and all over her body. Oh, so sad. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. You going through that, and now this with your husband. Wow. We all walk around here think we got problems, but sometimes you gotta think of somebody else always have it worse than you. Always do. All right, let's get back to it. Thanks again, Penny. Shout out. Thank you.
Online we had fake names. I couldn't even tell you what at this point. But when we met, I said, "Hi, my real name's Nikki. It's nice to meet you." Something along those lines, and he said Rex, and that was it. But I knew he was an architect from Manhattan before I even went on the date with him.
So you left. Never heard from him again, I assume, or did you ever hear from him
I
again?
deleted accounts. I blocked numbers. I made it where it was impossible for him to find me again because I did not want that encounter. And everything in my body told me that I needed to get away from that man.
But he originally wanted you to come to his home.
Yeah. And when I tell you, I've met men, I never felt that for any other man ever. I never felt that kind of fear except for with him.
I'll give her credit. She listened to that gut feeling. Ladies and gentlemen, you always listen to that gut feeling. It's telling you something. Not saying I'm perfect, because sometimes I'll be like, "Dick, I should have listened to my gut feeling." And the times I did listen, I'm like, whew, thank you, God. I listened. All right, let me read the poll real quick. And we're going to end real soon. So just hang in there. We're almost done with this video here. All right, we got 13 votes, ladies and gentlemen. And the question is, and that was for the first story, the Rachel Morin story case. Do you think the boyfriend did it? And then we have Donna, no way, 0%. 46% says, of course he did it. 54% says, not sure. All right, let's get back to it.
And that's why I remember it so vividly, is because I was so scared. I feel like you don't forget that kind of fear.
When did you stop? When did you stop this line of work? Was it shortly after that? Did you think I have to really do something else, or are you? Do you
So,
remember?
the system kind of had me screwed for a little while there. I had a few years after where I couldn't get out of. I did. Strip clubs, things like that nature, but I didn't do sex work as an escort anymore. I kind of got scared out of it, but I was working strip clubs and still in the sex work industry. It took eight, either 8 to 10 years of my felony being that old for me to be able to finally get accepted back into a school and start making a career and a life for myself.
So, Nikki, have you contacted?
You go, girl. I like that. She hung in there. She changed. Okay. I didn't know you have to go through that to get back into school. You have to, if you have a felony. Oh, boy. Oh, well. All right, let's get back to it. We almost done, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to let y'all go. I had y'all here for a minute. Let's get back to it.
Contacted the Suffolk County Police Department? Have they interviewed you at all about this interaction you had with Rex?
So they didn't, reach out to me at all for a while. It took up until last week to finally reach out to me, and I set up an appointment to go there. But I have a newborn and other kids, and I was so exhausted. I ended up passing out, and while my daughter napped, I ended up napping too, and I missed it. And I called, and we're gonna reschedule it for probably late this week or next week to go in and have an interview. But I ruined that. I slept right through it. I was exhausted.
Was there, or do you have any final thoughts about this? I can't imagine realizing I went to dinner with somebody who is accused of something so awful. I mean, that had to just be really chilling.
It's not a new realization. This is something I've been telling people for years. So for me, this isn't a new discovery. This is something I've known. It's just not, it's the validation of knowing my instincts were right. That feels good. But otherwise, I think that, I could have been another victim had I made a different choice.
Well, I think that we're all glad that you had such good instincts and you trusted your gut. They always say trust your gut, and you did. Nikki, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it, and we hope you'll come back another time.
I would love to.
I reached out to Suffolk County Police and asked whether detectives plan to interview Nikki Brass about her experience. A spokesperson told me the department does not comment on who detectives have or have not interviewed. However, the spokesperson said if Nikki Brass had an encounter with the suspect and wants to tell her story, she can contact the task force to schedule an interview. That's it for this edition.
Okay, Jack, do you have any closing thoughts here? I'm about to wrap this up here. Not. Guess not.
No, like I said, he did it, of course. And I know more is going to come out of this. So I'm gonna keep sealed on this one.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Well, my closing thoughts on it. The first story, I don't know. He didn't argue with them to give DNA, testing. So that's, a good sign, I guess. The first story, if the boyfriend did it, but it just doesn't add up. It really doesn't. But it will come out eventually. Now, with this story here, Rex, you are a piece of crap. But it's over now. You have been caught. So we'll just find out what's going to happen in court. And I will definitely follow this story. Look at these children. The son is in his 30s looking like that. And the daughter 25 looking like that. That just doesn't add up to me. It really doesn't. Okay. And let me see. Nikki says something here. Are you saying the boyfriend did it? I kind of think that the boyfriend did, but then I read somewhere that he gave up his DNA and his cell phone, like no arguments, but then I'm reading somewhere else too that she had she was dating a couple of people online, so maybe she had another side dude on the side and he could have did it. But whoever did it, know her. This wasn't no random. That was too personal. The way she was attacked, that was personal. It's somebody that she knows. So we'll find out the story, and the prayers to the children. That's my whole thing, the children. She got 5 kids, and it's 3 fathers. So I don't know, maybe some kids, father have 2 of them or whatever and stuff. But my whole thing is that these siblings are gonna grow up apart from each other, not growing up together in the same home. Oh boy. But I'll just say one thing, I know you saying in a message on Facebook, I changed. Don't judge me for my past. I didn't do nothing to her. But honey, I have to say, if you've been arrested 14 times, assault, and I believe assault on women too, if I'm correct, allegedly, people's going to look at you. Your past can mess you up in the future. So the decision that you make, it can come back to haunt you. You might actually be innocent. But hey, your past, nobody's trying to hear it. You're going to be in the spotlight. And ladies, don't even entertain yourself with some dude like this. What does he have to offer? Nothing. Looks and wood. Unless that's all you want in a man. If that's all you want that makes you happy, is that he a good F-boy, well then, you go ahead. Take him off. Have a good time with him. And good luck. That's all I have to say. So I'm going to end this one. Like I always say, is date smart, not thirsty. And definitely be careful who you bring around your children. If you want to go out here and run around here with these low-life men, Ladies, don't bring them around your children. Just don't. It's not worth it. All right, everybody. Oh, did I miss something here? Melvia says something real quick. Date smart, not thirsty. Sometimes you shouldn't date at all. Woo! All right, Melvia. All right, so let's get back. What was I about to say? Oh, that's just it. I'm done. All right, it's late here. All right, everybody have this as a blessed night and a safe one. And stay tuned for some more of Donna Just Being Real. And I will be getting ready to do something about Jonathan Majors because there's an update with that one. And yeah, we gotta talk about Jonathan Majors. All right, bye.